Okay, here we go. The things I should comment on are the form of the scatter plot. The overall form of the scatter plot, for our purposes, will either be linear or curved. I could get into trying to call it a quadratic looking curve or a logarithm kind of a curve, but we're just going to say it's linear or curved for now. The form is linear if the overall pattern tends to follow a straight line. Now, as far as direction is concerned, I should talk about direction as well. There are three options for direction. There's a positive association between the two variables, or there's a negative association between the two variables, or there's no association whatsoever. Okay, for a positive association, larger x values tend to get paired with larger y values. Bigger x's, bigger y's. And smaller y values tend to get hooked up with smaller x values. So let me draw a picture of that over here to the side. Here's a scatter plot. That's a positive association because if I were to draw a line through there, the line would have a positive slope. For a negative association, larger x values tend to get paired with smaller y values. And smaller y values, x values, tend to get paired with larger y values. If I wanted to draw one of those, it would look like this. If I drew a line of best fit through all those points right there, it would have a negative slope. That's what a negative association means. If there's no direction, the last two patterns, they just don't emerge. Like, we don't see anything like that. So here's what no association looks like. It's just dots randomly placed all over the place, and you can't really find a pattern there. Okay, so far we talked about form, direction. Here we go. We're going to talk about strength of a scatter plot. The scatter plot can show a strong or moderate or weak association as far as we're concerned. Strong means all the points are real close to each other. Moderate means it's okay, it's kind of loose, it's a little more spread out. A weak association is you can tell it's going in a linear direction, but the points aren't anywhere near each other. For a strong association, the points will all adhere closely to the form that is identified. For a weak association, the points tend to stray away from the form. All right, I talked about form and direction and strength, and the last thing that we mentioned, those four things, is outliers. For now, outliers will just be described as individual points that fall outside of the overall pattern. Okay, for the first scatter plot you made today, let me bring that back around. I'll put it right here so you guys can see it. There's your scatter plot from today. That was the dash time and long jump distance. You would describe this relationship. There is I'm going to call it a strong. I'm going to say those points are pretty close to each other. It's a strong negative linear association. It doesn't look to be curved. I mean, that would be a real slight curve. The overall pattern is that it is a straight line kind of a pattern. I'd say those points are pretty close. They're not far enough away for me to say it's too spread out. So I'm going to say it's a strong negative linear association. Go to the next page.